Picture this: a stage bathed in the blinding white light of television cameras, an audience of hundreds holding their breath, a mix of red hats and hopeful faces, and in the center of it all, two of the most famous men on the planet. One of them, Donald Trump, is leaning forward, a predator's grin on his face. He thinks he's just laid the perfect trap. He thinks he's about to humiliate his greatest rival, Barack Obama, in front of the entire world. But what you're about to hear will change everything you think you know about power, composure, and the art of the comeback. This isn't just a story about politics. It's a story about moment. A single, silent, 10-second pause that led to a line so devastatingly perfect. It didn't just win the night. It became a viral earthquake. You're going to hear about the desperate plan hatched in private, the escalating on-stage duel that had millions glued to their screens, and the shocking aftermath that left one man visibly rattled and the other a masterclass in grace under fire. By the end of this, you will understand that true strength isn't about who shouts the loudest. It's about who can stand tall when the world is trying to tear them down. This is the story of the town hall that was meant to be a takedown, but became a legend instead. Let's set the scene. Phoenix, Arizona. The air outside the Arizona Federal Theater is thick with that dry desert heat, but inside, the energy is electric. For weeks, this town hall has been hyped as the political event of the decade. Billboards on the I-10 freeway screamed, "Trump versus Obama," the great debate. News channels ran promos on a loop, promising a historic, no-holds-barred exchange. And America, hungry for drama, tuned in, the line to get inside snaked for blocks. You see red MAGA caps right next to old, faded Hope T-shirts from 2008. It's a cross-section of a divided nation, all crammed into one room, buzzing with an almost dangerous level of anticipation. Inside, it's a sea of faces. Families, college kids, retirees, reporters frantically scribbling in their notebooks. The stage is simple. Two identical chairs, a slim glass table, and a backdrop of American flags. It looks clean, professional. But everyone in this room knows this isn't going to be clean. The air conditioning is humming, but you can feel the warmth radiating off the crowd. It's the heat of expectation. Then the house lights dim. A single spotlight hits center stage, and out he walks. Donald Trump. He strides out with that trademark swagger, chest out, chin high, a conquering hero returned to his arena. He waves, he points. He soaks in the roar from his supporters. He owns this stage. Or at least he thinks he does. For a second, you almost believe it. A moment later, from the other side, another figure emerges. Barack Obama. There's no fanfare, no big gestures. Just a calm wave, an easy stride. He's wearing a dark suit, a simple blue tie. It's the kind of quiet confidence that feels like the exact opposite of Trump's bombast. And the sound that greets him, it's different. It's not just cheering. It's a deep, rolling wave of applause that seems to shake the very foundations of the theater. It's louder, longer, and deeper than anyone, especially Trump, was expecting. You can see a flicker of something in Trump's eyes. Annoyance? Surprise? Maybe both. They take their seats. The camera zooms in. Trump is leaning forward, elbows on his knees, sizing Obama up like a boxer before the first bell. Obama is leaning back slightly, hands resting calmly on the armrests. He's not matching the aggression. He's absorbing it. The plan, hatched by Trump's team, was simple. This wasn't a debate. It was an ambush. The questions were loaded, designed to trip Obama up, to make him defensive, to create sound bites of failure that Trump could tweet out for weeks. The stage was set for a public humiliation. The moderator, a seasoned anchor from CBS, welcomes the millions watching at home. But before she can even ask the first question, Trump leans into his microphone, a smug grin on his face, and says, just loud enough for everyone to hear, "Glad you could finally make it, Barack." Traffic must have been tough from Martha's Vineyard. A few chuckles from the crowd. It's a petty jab meant to paint Obama as an out-of-touch elitist. The audience holds its breath. This is the first test. How does he respond? Obama doesn't take the bait. He just offers a small, knowing smile, shakes his head slightly, and says, "It's good to be here with the American people. That's why we're both here tonight, isn't it?" Boom. In one sentence. He deflects the personal insult and turns it back to the audience, making himself the one focused on them, not himself. The first ripple of applause that isn't just for his presence, but for his words, sweeps the room. The moderator launches into the first topic, the economy. Trump immediately jumps in, his voice a torrent of accusations. Tell me, Barack, if your policies were so great, why did I inherit such a broken system? Why did America need me to fix what you couldn't? The words are sharp, calculated, meant to sting. The trap is sprung. But what Trump doesn't know is that Obama didn't come here to walk into a trap. He came here to dismantle it, piece by piece, right in front of everyone. Obama doesn't rush. He lets the accusation hang in the air. He adjusts his microphone, gives that same half smile, and when he finally speaks, his voice is disarmingly calm. Mr. President, he begins, leadership isn't about pointing fingers at the past. It's about taking responsibility for the present. The audience stirs. Another wave of applause, stronger this time. Trump's grin tightens. This isn't going according to plan. He leans forward, interrupting. Try to reclaim control. Oh, responsibility. Don't lecture me about responsibility. I've done more for this country than you ever dreamed of. His words are fast, defensive, a little too eager. Obama simply nods, letting him finish. Then he delivers the first real counterpunch of the night. The presidency isn't about what you say you've done. It's about what people feel in their lives. And Americans know the truth when they live it every day. That line lands. It lands hard. You can physically see faces in the audience change. Nods of agreement. A few people murmur. That's right. In that single moment, it becomes painfully obvious that Obama isn't here to play Trump's game of blame and insult. He's here to rise above it. Still, Trump won't let go. He pivots to foreign policy, painting a picture of global weakness. You let the world walk all over us. You left America looking weak, Barack. But Obama's reply is swift, almost effortless. Strength isn't measured by how loud you shout or how many enemies you make. Strength is measured by the alliances you keep and the respect you earn. The hall breaks into applause again, even louder this time. Trump blinks, visibly irritated, his jaw working as he searches for his next attack. The dynamic is shifting right here on live television. What was supposed to be Trump's show, his stage for dominance, is turning into something else entirely. Obama isn't just answering questions. He's reframing the entire debate. And millions watching at home are leaning closer to their screens, sensing that this is just the opening round. The real fireworks? They haven't even started yet. The moderator barely has time to thank Obama before Trump seizes a microphone again, his voice now even sharper, laced with raw accusation. Barack, let's cut the nice talk. You left this country in shambles. You weakened us abroad, gutted our economy, and divided people right here at home. I fixed that mess, and you know it. The words are heavy, designed to bruise. The room splits, loud claps from one side, loud boos from the other. Trump thrives in this chaos. He points a finger directly at Obama, his face a mask of smug anger. Tell these folks why. If you were so great, America chose me to clean up after you. A collective gasp from the audience at the sheer directness of the challenge. This is it. The direct confrontation everyone was waiting for. Obama doesn't move. He taps his fingers once on the armrest, a small, deliberate motion. Then he leans in and his voice is still calm, almost casual, which makes the words cut even deeper. Donald, the presidency isn't a reality show. People don't choose one person because they want cleanup. They choose because they believe in a vision. Now, whether that vision holds up, that's up to results. The hall erupts. Not just applause, but laughter. Sharp, knowing laughter. Obama's tone wasn't aggressive, but the message was a razor blade. Vision matters more than your cheap insults. Trump's grip on the microphone tightens. He speaks louder, as if volume alone can undo the sting. Vision? Your vision gave us a broken border. Foreign governments laughing at us, and Americans left behind. I had to step in and put America first again. He stretches out the words America first, turning it into a rallying cry. His supporters roar. giving him a wave of noise to ride. But Obama doesn't flinch. He waits for the noise to die down. And then he tells a story. I remember visiting a small town in Indiana back in 2009, right after the financial crash. A factory worker stood up and told me he wasn't sure how he'd keep his home, feed his kids, or pay his medical bills. And I told him, I can't promise miracles overnight, but I promise I'll fight to give you a fair shot. That's what leadership is. Not slogans, not catchphrases, just the hard work of helping people one by one. The hall goes quiet. Can you feel that? The shift from political theater to real human experience. That's the difference. And Trump can't let that stand. He waves his hands dismissively. That's a nice story, Barack. But stories don't pay bills. I'm the one who put jobs back. I'm the one who got people working again. You left them broke. His voice cracks just a tiny bit on the word broke. Frustration, leaking through performance. Obama just raises an eyebrow. He speaks slowly, deliberately. Jobs don't matter if people can't afford their medicine. Paychecks don't mean much if families are drowning in medical debt. And you don't win respect in the world by yelling louder than anyone else. You win it by keeping your word. That last line hits like a thunderclap. The applause that follows is a storm, drowning out the scattered boos. The moderator, trying to keep up, glances at Trump as if to say, your move. But you can see he's rattled. The jabs that work so well on Twitter and at his rallies are just bouncing off. The moderator, seeing an opening, steps in. Gentlemen, let's allow the audience to participate. We'll take our first question from the floor. She gestures to a woman in the front row. Hand raised high. The woman stands, and the room quiets down to hear her. But what nobody knows is that this question from this ordinary woman is about to set the stage for the next major escalation. The woman introduces herself as Carla Rodriguez, a school teacher from nearby Tempe. Her voice is trembling slightly, but her words are firm. My students come from all kinds of backgrounds, she says, and they ask me questions I don't always know how to answer. They wonder why politics always feels like people yelling at each other instead of listening. So my question is, how do you lead when the country feels so divided? It's a perfect question. Simple, heartfelt, and it cuts right to the core of the problem. Trump snatches the microphone first. Great question, Carla. And let me tell you, no one has done more for unity than me. The fake news won't tell you that, but it's true. When everyone's winning, when everyone has money in their pockets, that's unity. Under Obama, we were losing. Everyone knows it. He leans back, satisfied. His supporters cheer on cue. The microphone is passed to Obama. He takes it with a small smile. Carla, thank you for what you do. Teaching is one of the toughest jobs there is. And I know you're on the front lines with kids who carry all the weight of our debates on their shoulders. The crowd claps softly, a warm, appreciative sound. He continues, his voice now almost intimate. The truth is, leadership isn't about pretending division doesn't exist. It's about showing respect, even when you disagree. Our kids, they don't just listen to what we say. They watch how we treat each other. If we want unity, it starts right there. The hall erupts. People are on their feet. The camera catches Carla, the teacher, wiping a tear from her eye. She feels heard. And that connection is something Trump cannot stand. He cuts in, raising his voice to be heard over the applause. Respect? You call this respect? You spied on my campaign. You lied to the American people. You divided this country more than anyone. His voice is booming, desperate to claw back control. Obama just waits. He lets the accusations hang in the air, then die. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't rush. When the noise settles, he leans into the microphone and speaks with a chilling clarity. Donald, I've learned something in public life. If every disagreement is treated like a war, nobody wins. Division doesn't come from who disagrees with you. It comes from how you handle it. The silence that follows that line is incredible. For a few seconds, even Trump's most ardent supporters have nothing to say. Then the applause starts, rolling from the back of the hall to the front like a wave. Trump's jaw is so tight you could bounce a quarter off it. You can talk nice all you want. He shoots back. But talk is cheap. People want action, not stories. Obama's response is instantaneous. Action without empathy isn't leadership. It's just noise. People remember whether you lifted them up or pushed them down. That's the difference. The words hit like a gut punch. On social media, the clips are already going viral. The hashtag lift them up starts trending nationwide. The town hall presses on, but the tone has been set. Every time Trump tries to turn it into a street fight, Obama elevates it. When the topic is healthcare, Trump rattles off statistics. Obama tells a story about a family in El Paso struggling to afford insulin. When the topic is race relations, Trump dismisses protesters. Obama talked about a young man in Milwaukee who just wants to walk home without being seen as a threat. It's a masterclass in emotional intelligence versus brute force. And the more Obama speaks, the more the room leans his way. Even people who were cheering for Trump at the beginning are now sitting still, listening intently. Trump feels it. He can feel the control slipping away. He gets more frantic. His interruptions become more frequent, his tone more mocking. But each time, Obama pauses, lets the interruption burn itself out, and responds with that unshakable composure. The split screen on TV tells a whole story. One man, red face and waving his arms. The other calm and steady, speaking directly into the heart of America. And then comes the moment. The moderator introduces the topic of race relations again, and Trump cuts her off. This is his chance, he thinks, to land a knockout blow. His voice is a low growl. Barack, you talk a good game about unity. But under your watch, cities burned, cops were demonized, and Americans turned against each other. You divided this country more than anyone, and everybody here knows it. The room explodes. Cheers and boos clash in a wall of sound. You had 8 years. Trump bellows over the noise. And what did we get? Riots, anger, and now I'm the one fixing what you broke. Obama sits still, hands folded, waiting for the storm to pass. When the hall finally quiets, he leans in. Donald, people don't march in the streets because the president tells them to. They march because they're tired of being ignored. They march because they want justice. My job wasn't to silence them. It was to listen. The response draws a roar of approval. Trump's face twists. Listen? You let criminals take over. You turned your back on our men and women in blue. Obama's voice is firm, deliberate. Respect for police and respect for communities are not opposites. You can honor the badge while demanding accountability. When leaders pit one against the other, they're not solving the problem. They're making it worse. That line lands hard. The audience is on its feet again. Trump, visibly rattled now, forces a chuckle. There you go again. Lecturing. Always lecturing. People are tired of speeches. They wanted me. Obama tilts his head, his voice soft but pointed. Results without compassion are just numbers. Leadership is measured in the lives you improve, not the applause you demand. The applause that follows is thunderous. Trump is losing. Badly. He leans forward again, desperate. You think you're so calm, so clever, but let's be honest, you failed. You left America weak, and I came in to make it strong again. Obama doesn't respond right away. He lets those words hang in the air. Then, after a long, deliberate pause, he leans forward. His voice is quiet, steady, but it carries across the hall with surgical precision. Donald, strength isn't measured by how many times you call yourself strong. It's measured by whether people feel safe, respected, and hopeful. You can't bully your way into history. You earn your place there. The hall absolutely erupts. Cheers, whistles, people stomping their feet. Trump's eyes narrow. He looks, for the first time all night, completely lost. He mutters into Mike, "You're all words, Barack. That's all you ever were." Obama, hearing him, waits for a sliver of silence and delivers a line so direct it slices through the remaining noise. Better words that lift people up than words that tear them down. And the place just explodes. People are jumping up and down, chanting Obama's name. The sound is overwhelming. Trump just sits back, blinking rapidly, his face a deep shade of red under the stage lights. The camera cuts between them. One man basking in the crowd's adoration, the other struggling to keep his composure. It's a total reversal. But the single most defining moment of the night, the one that will be replayed for years, is still to come. The silence that will leave the entire country hanging on his every word. The air inside the theater is so thick with tension, you could cut it with a knife. The back and forth has been relentless, and the audience is emotionally exhausted. The moderator is trying her best, but it's like trying to referee a hurricane. Trump isn't listening to rules anymore. He's cornered, and he's lashing out. He grips the microphone like it's a weapon. "Let me tell you something, Barack," he booms, his voice raw. "You love to act like the smartest guy in the room. But the truth is you failed. You failed Americans. You left them behind, and I had to clean up your mess. You were weak, and everybody knows it. Weak." He repeats the word, spitting it out like poison. "You're not a hero, Barack. You're a disaster. You talked nice, but when it came to action, you did nothing. Nothing." The room crackles, half cheering him on, half groaning in disgust. And in the middle of all that noise, Barack Obama sits perfectly still. He doesn't move. He doesn't frown. He doesn't reach for his own microphone. He just waits. The noise begins to falter as people realize he isn't responding. 1 second passes. 2. 5. The moderator turns to him, a nervous look on her face. Trump smirks, mistaking the silence for surrender. "That's what I thought," he mutters into his mic. "Nothing to say." And then Obama leans forward. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't try to match Trump's fire. His words come out low, even almost gentle, forcing everyone in the room and everyone watching at home to lean in and listen. "Donald," he says, and then he pauses for a beat that feels like an eternity. Real strength is being able to stand tall without putting someone else on their knees. Silence. A stunned, absolute silence. For a single heartbeat, nobody moves, nobody breathes. It's as if the entire world has hit the pause button. Then it comes. The eruption. A roar of applause so massive, so overwhelming, it feels like the roof is about to lift off the theater. It's not just clapping. It's a visceral, emotional release. People are jumping out of their seats, whistling, shouting his name. The glass water pitchers on the moderator's table are literally vibrating from the sound. The camera is cut straight to Trump. His forced grin has vanished. It's replaced by a tight-lipped stare of pure, undiluted fury. He tries to wave it off, to roll his eyes, but he's swallowed by the noise. He just sits there, jaw clenched, as Obama calmly folds his hands, waiting for the wave to subside. When the cheers finally soften, Obama leans in again, this time speaking directly to the audience. "I want you all to understand something. Politics isn't about humiliating your opponent. It's about lifting up the people you serve. When leaders forget that, when they make it all about themselves, everybody loses." The applause swells again. This isn't just a political rally anymore. It feels like church. Trump tries to cut in, his voice cracking. "Oh, please, spare us the sermon. You've been doing this for years. Talk, talk, talk." Obama turns his gaze back to him, calm and unwavering. Results mean nothing if people don't feel respected. Leadership without respect is just a performance. And America deserves better than a performance. The crowd roars. The cameras zoom in on faces in the audience. People are wiping away tears. They are shaking their heads in disbelief at the sheer power of the moment. On Twitter, it's an inferno. The hashtag #StandTall is the #1 trend in the world within minutes. News commentators are speechless. One on MSNBC just says that was a knockout. Trump is still muttering, "You're all words, Barack. All words." And Obama turns back one last time, his voice still steady. Words can heal or they can wound. The choice belongs to the person speaking them. The applause that follows completely drowns Trump out. The moderator, sensing the night has peaked, knows it's time to try and move on, but the damage is done. The town hall that Trump designed as his personal victory lap has just become the stage for one of the most iconic moments of Obama's public life. But the night isn't over, and the fallout from that single, perfect line is only just beginning. The moderator, visibly rattled but determined, shuffles her cards. Let's shift to the economy, she says, but the words feel hollow. The ghost of Obama's line is still hanging in the air. Trump, eager to reclaim any ground he can, lunges for the microphone. The economy under me, he declares, was the best this country has ever seen. Records. We were breaking records. Barack left me a disaster. I fixed it. His supporters cheer, but it's weaker now. They know he's playing defense. Obama waits. When it's his turn, he starts with something unexpected. Donald's right about one thing. The economy was growing before the pandemic, but the question isn't whether numbers look good on a chart. It's whether families feel secure. He then paints a picture. Ask the waitress in Mesa who works 2 jobs and still can't afford rent. Ask the truck driver in Flagstaff who can't afford his son's college tuition. If that growth doesn't reach them, what's the point? The applause is immediate. It's an argument from empathy, not statistics. Trump snaps back. Fake stories. That's what you're good at, Barack. Stories. Those people don't even exist. A gasp ripples through the hall. Did he really just say that? Obama lets the silence hang for a moment, letting the cruelty of the line sink in. Then he says, his voice laced with ice, every person I've ever spoken to exists. Every family struggling to pay rent exists. To say otherwise is to say the people of this country don't matter. And I will not do that. The room erupts again. Trump is just waving his arms now, shouting, more speeches. Always speeches. But it's no use. The split screen is brutal. Obama, calm and connected. Trump, flustered and dismissive. Then comes a question from a college student in the 3rd row about the crushing weight of student debt. Trump gives a rambling answer about opportunity and liberal indoctrination. When it's Obama's turn, he doesn't give a policy speech. He looks directly at the student. What's your major? Environmental science. She says, surprised. And how much debt do you think you'll have when you graduate? Her voice is a whisper. About $80,000. The audience murmurs in shock. Obama leans in. $80,000 for one young woman trying to serve her community and protect our planet. That's not opportunity. That's a trap. And if our leadership doesn't find a way to fix that, then we are failing her. The applause is deafening. The student's eyes are watering as she mouths, thank you. It's another moment of pure human connection. Trump just scoffs into his mic. She'll be fine. You work hard, you pay your dues. Nothing's free. The boos that rain down on him are the loudest of the night. For the first time, he's being drowned out not by Obama supporters, but by a general sense of outrage. The optics are a disaster. Trump's attempt to humiliate Obama has not only failed, it has backfired spectacularly, exposing a gap in empathy so wide you could drive a truck through it. By the time the town hall ends, the story is already written. Backstage, it's chaos on one side and calm on the other. Trump's team is in full-blown panic mode. We're losing the room, one aide mutters. Spin this now. Trump is pacing red-faced, blaming the biased crowd and the fake media. Across the hall, Obama's team is quiet, smiling. An old friend puts a hand on his shoulder. You reminded people who you are tonight, he says. The next morning, the headlines tell the story. The Washington Post, Obama outshines Trump in live town hall. The New York Times, grace versus noise, the clash that backfired. The clips of the hashtag Stand Tall moment and the hashtag 80K exchange are everywhere. On TikTok, teenagers who barely remember his presidency are remixing his lines to music. The irony is crushing. Trump invited Obama to his stage, hoping for a kill shot. Instead, he handed him a global platform to remind the world what composed, dignified leadership looks like. When all the dust settled, what remained wasn't just a political victory. It was a profound lesson. Trump came in with a strategy of humiliation. He believed that by being louder, by being more aggressive, by putting Obama on his knees, he would look strong. But he was wrong. Think about it. In that moment, with the world watching, Obama showed that true strength isn't about the force of your attack. It's about the depth of your character. It's the ability to absorb hatred and respond not with more hatred, but with clarity and grace. That 10-second pause before a stand tall line wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a display of ultimate control. He wasn't just thinking of a comeback. He was commanding the entire room, forcing everyone to listen on his terms. This story isn't just about two presidents. It's about a choice we all face. In our own lives, at work, with our families, we will all encounter people who try to make us feel small, who try to win by tearing us down. And in those moments, we have a choice. Do we get down in the mud and fight their ugly fight? Or do we take a breath, stand our ground, and respond from a place of strength and dignity? That night in Phoenix, Barack Obama didn't just win a debate. He offered a masterclass in how to win an argument without losing your soul. He reminded us that composure is a superpower, that empathy is not a weakness, and that real, lasting strength is and will always be the ability to stand tall, especially when someone is doing everything in their power to knock you down. If this story resonated with you, if you believe that grace and dignity are values worth fighting for, then stick around and subscribe. Because these aren't just stories from the past. They are lessons for our future. And in a world that's getting louder and angrier every day, maybe the most powerful thing we can do is remember how to be quiet, how to be steady, and how to, in our own way, stand tall.